everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in to Cabin Fever Crochet with me, Helene, for today's project, which is a bonus tutorial that works back to my recent open season market bag or tote, where I added an extra special finishing touch that can be worked around the top of the bag, around the strap, either or both. And I originally worked it without, and I think it looks just fine. And then I added the extra trim on afterwards, so you can certainly do that also and see which method you like. Now, originally I ended in a single crochet, and then I did not do anything different to the strap. I think it looks fine as it is. But just to make it for me a little more complete and to take it up another notch with some, I guess if you will, some designer elements, this is what I came up with. However, this technique and the stitch can be applied to a variety of projects also, and it accomplishes several different things. Not only, it cleans up the edges really nicely of the strap and the top of the bag, and it strengthens and reinforces both, and it keeps the top and the strap from stretching out and to help keep its shape. And as you can see, it looks really nice with contrasting trim around the top. And so what I did was I pulled the color, I did color blocking here, so I pulled the color from the bottom, went around the top of the bag where I have the multicolored, and then where I have the solid strap at the top, I took the multicolored yarn from the bag and worked it back to here to bring it all together. And if you watched this video and worked the project, you may notice that I also changed the color of the bead. I thought that the pale, it was really pretty, but it got a little bit lost, kind of washed out against the strong color of the bag. So I wanted something to really pop, and that kind of brings it forward to the center and becomes a focal point. In this bag, which I will be demoing today, I worked it in the same color family, and although it blends very nicely, it also stands out enough to give you a really nice top edging, and it also looks good on the front side and the back side also, and it gives you an interesting nice little element of double top stitching going across the strap, which really reinforces that as well. Okay. And for the neutral bag, I'm not sure if I'm going to go around the handle and the top of the bag on this one, since I made the handle a little bit wider to start. I don't want it too thick. Sometimes if they're too thick, then they just slide off the shoulder. But I know I'm going to go around the top of the bag and work in the Mochaccino, the Lion Brand Comfy Cotton blend, which I think will work nicely with that. And pull that brown bead too, the color of it, pull it together. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Let you know the yarn I used for this bag is Cascade Yarns Paradigm Shift. It's a 100% mercerized cotton that went through an additional process that made it a little bit softer, but it still to me has a cross between a dishcloth and a mercerized cotton, but with an added bit of smoothness. But it's very strong. It doesn't really have any stretch to it, and I don't know if this yarn is still available, but I did stay with the smaller of the two hooks, the H 5.5 millimeter, for the entire bag on this one, to let you know, because when I tried the 5.5 millimeter hook, for my taste there was just way too much spacing in between the stitches, and seemed like it was overstretched out at the top before even using it. Although I wasn't sure if I would have enough to do my strap, combining two strands plus the trim I will be doing all the way around. So I went through my stash, pulled out this Hobby Lobby I Love This cotton. It's 100%. It's very soft and smooth, feels like a comb cotton, and I knew combining the two would work great and make a really strong strap. Alright, now if you want to work your bag and leave it as is, that is fine. You can do that. However, if you want to take it up a notch and add some extra elements, well then I'm going to show you what I did. And also it serves two purposes by really reinforcing the join where the strap is to the body of the work. Right, so do the strap first, and if you already have your cinch tie on, that's okay. You can work around it. It's easier without, but you don't need to take it out to do this. So we're going to be working a modified reverse single crochet, otherwise known as crab stitch. I hope you know how to do those. I'm going to show you. And it gives a nice edge without too much bulk, as the reverse single crochet can sometimes do, and then it'll cause the top of your work to curl over. And also with the reverse single crochet, instead of working normally we do right to left, we work left to right instead. So go ahead and connect your yarn, I would say, in the first full stitch over from the join, not down at the base of the join. We don't want to stretch that out, and go through all of your stitches. So I used 2 strands of yarn, so that means I'm going through 4 strands. But I'm going to do the trim in 1 strand, and I'm going to stay in the smaller of the 2 hooks. You can try that, or you can try going up 1 hook size to see how it looks. My purpose is to keep the stitches close together, not have them bulky, and be flush against the top of the strap, but we don't want them tight. We want them smooth and flat, because if they're too tight, it's going to pull and tug on your work, and you're going to feel that tension when it's on your shoulder, and it's not going to look nice either. Alright, so go ahead, bring your yarn through, leave a good decent enough tail to really sew that in securely, and chain 1 with your tail and your working yarn just to lock that in. And then we are going to do a reverse single crochet into the next stitch. You just insert your hook through all the loops, bring up your stitch, turn over, pull through. Now in a regular reverse single crochet, you just repeat that over and over and over in each stitch. But what I often do, for projects, I started doing this instead. Chain 1, skip 1, reverse single crochet in the next. Because you're working along essentially the unfinished, the raw edge, to tell where your next placement is, you see the chain, you can bring the work down flush, and where it lands, that is the stitch that will correspond with the chain, and then the next stitch width over will be your next placement. You're just going to have to eyeball that and gauge it, and you might have to pull it back every now and then when you work your stitch, and maybe it doesn't look as nice. And catch, okay, those 4 strands don't go below that, because we want our stitches going even across the top and not have one that sticks down too far. Alright, so that was another reverse single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, wherever that may land, Insert your hook, and it's going to be tight in some places. Chain 1, skip 1, reverse single crochet. And I do take my time on this because this is the finishing work, and I really want this to look good and clean and nice and even, consistent. Okay, so I'm going to work this side all the way around and stop just before you connect to the body of your work. Don't cut your yarn because we are going to work this in one piece. I'm going to show you what we do going across to reinforce this section, how we turn in order to do a normal stitch, and then turn our work again to begin that reverse single crochet going up the other side, and then you'll just repeat that same process on the other edge. Okay, I will see you there. Okay, I am back around to the first edge. I have one more reverse single crochet to go. Complete that. Going to chain 1. We want to connect on that very edge stitch from back to front, right in between those single crochets on the top of your bag. I know it seems a little odd. Get your string, make your yarn, make sure it's on the bottom of the connecting double crochet of your strap, not above. That's just going to create a weird lump, okay? And slip stitch, okay? It's going to help anchor to the bag even more. And then now we are going to slip stitch across, again going under and up the leg or the post of the next single crochet and slip stitch. And you don't want that tight going across. So you can, going across the strap, if you want to go up one hook size you can, but just keep it loose, not where there's slack in it, but you don't want the stitches bunched and tight. And we're going to do that down and up and slip stitch over every leg or post of each of those 5 single crochets. That is the width of your strap, including the last one. And that gives a nice little top stitching. You see, it closes that gap space a little between where we connected and really helps to reinforce that join, because whenever there's a join, that's a stress point and a weak spot. See, looks nice and clean around the back also. Now we're going to rotate our work again. Okay, chain 1 just to make that turn, and then begin working up the other side of the strap by working a reverse single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, reverse single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, just like we did on the other side, all the way around. And that'll bring you back down to the other side of your strap, where we are going to do exactly what we did here by slip stitching to that very first from down and up around that edge of the single crochet and across the leg of each single crochet on that side. So I will work this side and I'll meet you there and work that with you one more time. I'm back around to the other side of my strap where it joins to the body of the bag. I've already chained 1 after my last reversed single crochet, and now I am going to skip 1 and then again from back to front on the edge of that little single crochet stitch, I'm going to slip stitch. You do have to bring up your hook backwards on that. Cinch this down so the end loop isn't poking out. Alright, and then again down and up the next post, slip stitch, down and up the next, each post of the single crochet that's at the top of your bag going across the strap, keeping the stitches nice and even and not too tight. Alright, one more to go. That one's a little tight. There we go. And then now again rotate. So we have our join on the other side. Remember we started a stitch or so above. Okay. Chain one to make that turn, reverse single crochet into the next stitch, and then now chain one, cut your yarn, bring your loop through, and then what I do to join, so you have a really nice invisible seam, is that I will just take my hook from back to front to the right of that beginning chain one, in between that beginning slip stitch, chain one into the first reverse single crochet, and I'll pull that through. You can do it with a yarn needle if you like, or your hook. Just bring that through to the back. Alright, and then sew your ends in, and you can do a little knot of these two ends together and then bury those into the back. Alright, see, that makes a really nice seamless join along the side. Alright, so now we're going to do similar across the top of the bag. Like we did on the strap, I would say one single crochet over from where your strap connects to the body of the bag, and join just like we did. Bring your loop through, chain one with both your tail and your working yarn to help lock that in. Okay. And reverse single crochet in the next, chain one, skip one single crochet, and work a reverse single crochet in the next, chain one, skip one, reverse single crochet in the next. Do that all the way over to your first strap. I will meet you there and show you how we work across that strap, so we can work this portion in one continuous piece also. Alright, I've worked up to my first strap. This side goes a lot faster because it's shorter than the strap, and also you're working into full stitches. But you can see what a difference the two make from having that finished edge versus not. So I worked my last reverse single crochet, and I chained one. So I'm going to skip the next stitch, and I am going to slip stitch just below the chain that we worked into the edge of that single crochet, and again rotate my work. So then now I'm working in the usual direction again, right to left. Okay, and then we're going to do another double stitching across. You don't have to. You can stop here, cut your yarn, and work the other side if you want. That's up to you. But then if you do that, you would have to start right up on the edge. But I'm just going to go ahead and work across like we did before, in and around behind the post and up the other side. And the next stitch down and up, all the way across, each single crochet the width of that strap. Now this one doesn't quite need it as much, but the other bag, the lavender bag and the neutral bag, okay, now, and we're up to the very edge stitch, so do go around like we did before. But the other two bags, I was trying to say, is that the yarn I used was thinner, lighter, and there wasn't as much thickness to help fill in those gaps, and there I noticed there was gap spacing. I did not like that, and it was causing stress on this join. So this was my solution to take care of both correcting that portion, securing it, giving a nice edge. Alright, so now we are going to rotate again and work along the top of the other side of our bag. Chain one, single crochet through all of the stitches of that first single crochet. Oh, that was a reverse single crochet. Okay, chain one, skip the next single crochet, reverse single crochet in the next, chain one, skip one, reverse single crochet in the next, skip one, and work that across to the other side, and I will see you there. Here I am up to my second strap. I finished the last reverse single crochet. I chained one. I'm going to skip one and work behind. That will keep your loop from gaping. Alright, and again, that single crochet that is flush with our join from the strap and just below the chain that we did across. Okay, cinch that down, rotate the work one more time, and just below the chains go back into the leg of that single crochet, slip stitch like we've been doing, and each around back of each single crochet across. I like top stitching too. I think that gives like a nice little, I don't know, kind of a designer element, if you will. Okay, and then when you get to the end, you can just do one more chain to lock that in. Cut your yarn, pull that through, and weave in your ends. And you can weave it to the single crochet next to it if you like. Bring that, I forgot to bring a yarn needle in here, but anyway, yeah, there you go. You can bring it through just to secure that a little more, then I would take then the yarn and my yarn needle and go through the stitches of the single crochet to the row below, and then go across and then to the back, and then weave that in the back. Yeah, so that's the finished look. And that completes our bonus finishing rounds and extra trim around the bag. Now I feel complete. All right, well that wraps up today's project. Take good care. Please come back next time, and I will see you soon.